Welcome back as we continue on with our reading of SAVITRI by Sri Aurobindo. Sending healing love and light. We're all one. Todos somos uno. Muy bien. So, we pick up at Book 2, the Book of the Traveler of the Worlds, Canto 5, the Godheads of the Little Life. Again, if you like my videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. Excuse me. A fixed and narrow power with rigid forms, he saw the empire of the little life, an unhappy corner in eternity. It lived upon the margin of the idea, protected by ignorance as in a shell. Then, hoping to learn the secret of this world, he peered across its scanty fringe of sight to disengage from its surface clear obscurity the force that moved it and the idea that made, imposing smallness on the infinite, the ruling spirit of its littleness, the divine law that gave it right to be, its claim on nature and its need in time. He plunged his gaze into the siege of mist that held this ill-lit, straightened continent, ringed with the skies and seas of ignorance. It kept it safe from truth and self and light. As when a searchlight stabs the night's blind breast, and dwellings and trees and figures of men appear, as if revealed to an eye in nothingness, all lurking things were torn out of their veils and held up in his vision's sun-white blaze. A busy, restless, uncouth populace teemed in their dusky, unnoted thousands there, in a mist of secrecy wrapping the world scene, the little deities of time's nether-act, who work remote from heaven's controlling eye, plotted, unknown to the creatures whom they move, the small conspiracies of the petty reign, amused with the small contrivings, the brief hopes, and little eager steps and little ways, and reptile wallowings in the dark and dust, and the crouch and ignominy of creeping life, a trepidant and motley multitude, a strange pell-mell of magician artisans, was seen molding the plastic clay of life, an elfin brood, an element kind, astonished by the unaccustomed glow, as if imminent in the shadows started up, imps with wry limbs and carved beast visages, sprite prompters, goblin wizened or fairy small, and genie fairer but unsouled and poor, and fallen beings their heavenly portion lost, and errant divinities trapped in time's dust, ignorant and dangerous wills, but armed with power, half animal, half god, their mood, their shape, out of the grayness of a dim background, their whispers come, an inarticulate force, awake in mind and echoing, thought or word, to their sting of impulse the heart's sanction draw. And in that little nature do their work, and fills its powers and creatures with unease. Its seed of joy they curse with sorrow's fruit, but out with error's breath its scanty lights, and turns its surface truths to falsehood's ends. Its small emotions spur, its passions drive, to the abyss or through the bog and mire. Or else with the goad of hard dry lust they prick, while jogs on devious ways that nowhere lead, life's cart finding no issue from ignorance. To sport with good and evil is their law, luring to failure and meaningless success. All models they corrupt, all measures cheat, make knowledge a poison, virtue a pattern dull, and lead the endless cycles of desire through the semblances of sad or happy chance to an inescapable fatality. All by their influence is enacted there, nor there alone is their empire or their role. Wherever are soulless minds and guideless lives, and in small body self is all that counts. Wherever love and light and largeness lack, these crooked fashioners take up their task. To all half-conscious worlds they extend their reign. Excuse me. Here too these godlings drive our human hearts. Our nature's twilight is their lurking place. Here too the darkened primitive hearts obey the veiled suggestions of a hidden mind that dogs our knowledge with misleading light and stands between us and the truth that saves. It speaks to us with the voices of the night. Our darkened lives to greater darkness move. Our seekings listen to calamitous hopes. A structure of unseeing thoughts is built, and reason used by an irrational force. This earth is not alone our teacher and nurse. The powers of all the worlds have entrance here. In their own fields they follow the will of law and cherish the safety of a settled type. On earth, out of their changeless orbit thrown, their law is kept. Lost their fixed form of things, into a creative chaos they are cast, where all ask order but is driven by chance. Strangers to the earth nature, they must learn earth's ways. Alien or opposites, they must unite. Excuse me. They work and battle with pain, agree. These join those parts, all parts, and joins anew. But never can we know and truly live till all have found their divine harmony. Our life's uncertain way winds circling on in our mind's unquiet search. Ask always light, till they have learned their secret and their source in the light of the timeless and its spaceless home. In the joy of the eternal soul and one, but now the light supreme is far away. Our conscious life so obeys its inconscient laws. To ignorant purposes, the blind desires, our hearts are moved by ambiguous forces and ambiguous force. Even our mind's consequences wear a battered crown. A slowly charging order binds our will. This is our doom until our souls are free. A mighty hand then rolls mind's firmament back. Infinity takes up the finite's axe, and nature steps into the eternal light. Then only ends this dream of nether life. At the outset of this enigmatic world, which seems at once an enormous brute machine and a slow unmasking of the spirit in things, in this revolving chamber without walls in which God sits impassive everywhere, as if unknown to himself and by us unseen in a miracle of inconscient secrecy, yet is all here his action and his will. In this whirl and sprawl through infinite vacancy, the spirit became matter and lay in the whirl, a body sleeping without sense or soul, a mass phenomenon of visible shapes, supported by the silence of the void, appeared in the eternal consciousness and seemed an outward and insensible world. There was none there to see and none to feel, only the miraculous, inconscient. A subtle wizard skilled was it at its task, inventing ways for magical results, managing creation's marvelous device, marking mechanically dumb wisdom's points. Using the unthought and inevitable idea, it did the works of God's intelligence. Man, this is beautiful. Hope y'all are enjoying this as much as I am. Victory to the light. Carry on, line 139, Canto 5. or wrought with some supreme unknown, still consciousness was hidden in nature's womb. Unfelt was the bliss whose rapture dreamed the worlds began. Was an inert substance driven by force. Being was an inert substance driven by force. At first was only in etheric space. Its huge vibrations circled round and round, housing some unconceived initiative upheld by a supreme original breath. Expansion and contraction's mystic act created touch and friction in the void. Into abstract emptiness brought clash and clasp. Parent of an expanding universe in a matrix of disintegrating force. By spinning it, conserved an endless sum. On the hearth of space it kindled a viewless fire that, scattering worlds as one might scatter seed, whirled out the luminous order of the stars. An ocean of electric energy formlessly formed its strange wave particles, constructing their dance this solid scheme, its mightiness in the atom shut to rest. Masses were forged or feigned in visible shapes. Light flung the photon's swift revealing spark and showed, in the minuteness of its flash, imaged this cosmos of apparent things. Thus has been made this real impossible world, an oblivious miracle or convincing show. Or so it seems to man's audacious mind, who seats his thought at this arbiter of truth, his personal vision and impersonal fact as witness of an objective world, his erring sense and his instruments artifice. Thus must he work life's tangible riddle out in a doubtful light, by error seize on truth and slowly part the visage and the veil, or else forlorn on faith and mind and sense, his knowledge and bright body of ignorance he sees in all things strangely fashioned here, the unwelcome jest of a deceiving force, a parable of Maya and her might, this visual perpetual motion caught and held in the mysterious and unchanging change of the persistent movement we call time, an ever-renewing, recurrent beat, thus mobile rounds that stereotype of flux. These static objects in the cosmic dance that are but energy's self-reaping whirls. One second. Drink more water and make sure to bless it. Healing, love, and light. That's some good stuff. Healing, love, and light. Okay. Betrayed the heavings of an imprisoned will. Waking and sleep lay locked in mutual arms. Helpless and indistinct came pleasure and pain. Trembling with the first faint thrills of a world soul, a strength of life that could cry no more, cry or move. A strength of life that could not cry or move, yet broke into beauty, singing some deep delight, an inarticulate sensibility. Throbs of the heart of an unknowing world ran through its somnolent torpor, and there stirred a vague, uncertain thrill, a wandering beat, a dim unclosing as of secret eyes. Infant self-feeling grew and birth was born. A Godhead woke but lay with dreaming limbs. Wolf. Excuse me. Her house refused to open its sealed doors and sent him to our eyes that only see the form, the act, and not the imprisoned God. Life hid in her pulse, a cult of growth and power, a consciousness with mute, stifled beats of sense, a mind suppressed that knew not yet of thought. An inner spirit that could only be. At first she raised no voice, no motion dared. Charged with world power, instinct with living force, only she clung with her roots to the safe earth. Thrilled dumbly to the shocks of ray and breeze, and put out tendril fingers of desire. The strength in her yearning for sun and light felt not the embrace that made her breathe and live. Absorbed, she dreamed, content with beauty and hue. At last the charmed immensity looked forth, austere, vibrant, hungering. She groped for mind, then slowly sense quivered and thought peered out. She forced the reluctant mold to grow aware. The magic was chiseled of a conscious form, its tranced vibrations rhythmed a quick response, and luminous strings prompted brain and nerve, awoken matter's spirit's identity. And in body lit the miracle of the heart's love and the soul's witness gaze, impelled by an unseen where there could break out fragments of some vast impulse to become and vivid glimpses of a secret self. Excuse me. And the doubtful seeds and force of shapes to be awoke from the unconscious swoon of things, and animal creation crept and ran, and flew and called between the earth and the sky, hunted by death but hoping still to live, and glad to breathe if only for a while. Then man was molded from the original brute, a thinking mind had come to life, lift life's moods. The keen-edged tool of nature, mixed and vague, an intelligent half-witness, half-machine, this seeming driver of her wheel of works, mission to motive and record her drift, and fix its law on her inconstant powers, the master spring of a delicate enginery, aspired to enlighten its user and refine, lifting a vision of the indwelling power. The absorbed mechanic's crude initiative, he raised his eyes. Heaven light mirrored a face, amazed at the works wrought in her mystic sleep. She looked upon the world that she had made, wondering now sees the great automaton. She paused to understand herself and aim. And then what? Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Pondering, she learned to act by conscious rule. A vision measure guided her rhythmic steps. Thought bordered her instincts with a frame of will, and lit with the idea her blinded urge. On her massive impulses, her reflex acts. On the inconscience pushed or guided drift and mystery of the unthinking accurate steps, she stuck the spacious image of a self, a living idol of disfigured spirit. On matter's act she imposed a pattern law. She made a thinking body from chemic cells, and molded a being out of a driven force to be what she was not, inflamed her hope. She turned her dream towards some high unknown. A breath was felt below of one supreme. An opening looked up to the spheres above, and colored shadows limed on mortal ground the passing figures of immortal things. A quick celestial flash could sometimes come. The illumined soul ray fell on heart and flesh, and touched with semblances of ideal light, with the stuff of which our earthly dreams are made. A fragile human love that could not last. Ego's moth wings to lift the seraph soul appeared, a surface glamour and brief date. Extinguished by a scanty breath of time, joy that forgot mortality for a while, came a rare visitor who left betimes, and made all things seem beautiful for an hour. Hopes that soon fade in drab realities, and passion that crumbles in ashes while they blaze. Kindle the common earth with their brief flame. A creature insignificant and small, visited, uplifted by an unknown power. Man labored on the little patch of earth for means to last, to enjoy, to suffer and die. A spirit that perished not with the body and breath was there like a shadow of the unmanifest, and stood behind the little personal form, but claimed not yet this earthly embodiment, assenting to nature's long, slow-moving toil, watching the works of his own ignorance, unknown, unfelt, and mighty. Witness lives. Unknown, unfelt, the mighty witness lives, and nothing shows the glory that is here, or wisdom governing the mystical world, a silence listening to the cry of life. It seems the hurrying crowd of moments stream towards the still greatness of a distant hour. This huge world unintelligibly turns in the shadow of a mused inconscience. It hides a key to inner meanings missed. It locks in our hearts a voice we cannot hear, an enigmatic labor of the spirit, an exact machine of which none knows the use, an art of ingenuity without sense. This minute, elaborate, orchestrated life forever plays its motiveless symphonies. The mind learns and knows not, turning its back to truth. It studies surface laws by surface thought. Life's steps surveys, and nature's process sees. Nothing for what she acts or why we live. It marks her tireless care of just device, her patient intricacy of fine detail, the ingenious spirit's brave, inventive plan. In her great futile mass of endless works, adds purposeful figures to her purposeful sum. Its gabled stories piles its climbing roofs on the close-carved foundations she has laid, imagined citadels reared in mythic air, or mounts a stair of dream to a mystic moon. Transient creations point to hit the sky. A world conjecture scheme is labored out. On the dim floor of mind's incertitude, or painfully built, a fragmentary whole, impenetrable, a mystery recondite. In the vast plan of which we are part, its harmonies are discord to our view, but we know not the great theme they serve. Inscrutable work the cosmic agencies, only the fringe of a wide surge we see. Our instruments have not the greater light, our will tunes not with the eternal will. Our heart's sight is too blind and passionate, impotent to share in nature's mystic tact. Inapt to feel the pulse and core of things. Our reason cannot sound life's mighty sea, and only counts its waves and scans its foam. It knows not whence these motions touch and pass. It sees not whither sweeps the hurrying flood. Only it strives to canalize its powers. Excuse me. And hopes to turn its course to human ends. But all its means come from the inconscient store. Unseen here act dim, huge world energies. and only trickles and currents are our share. Our mind lives far off from the authentic light, catching at little fragments of truth in a small corner of infinity. Our lives are inlets of an ocean's force. Our conscious movements have sealed origins, but with those shadowy seats, no converse hold. No understanding binds our comrade parts. Our acts emerge from a crypt our minds ignore. Our deepest depths are ignorant of themselves. Even our body is a mystery shop. As our earth's roots lurk, screened below our earth, so lie unseen our roots of mind and life. Our springs are kept close hid beneath, within. Our souls are moved by powers behind the wall. In the subterranean reaches of the spirit, a puissance acts and recks not what it means. Using unthinking monitors and scribes in the cause of what we think and feel, it is the cause of what we think and feel. The troglodytes of the subconscious mind, ill-trained, slow-stammering interpreters, only of their small tasks, routine aware, and busy with the record in ourselves. Concealed in subliminal secrecies, mid and obscure occult machinery, capture the mystic Morse whose measured lilt transmits the messages of cosmic force. A whisper falls into life's inner ear, an echo from the dun subconscious caves. Excuse me. Speech leaps, thought quivers, a heart vibrates, the will answers, and tissue and nerve obey the call. Our lives translate these subtle intimacies. All is the commerce of a secret power. A thinking puppet is the mind of life. Its choice is the work of elemental strengths that know not their own birth and end and cause, and glimpse not the immensities inert they serve. In this neither life of man, drab-hued and dull, yet filled with poignant, small, and noble things, the conscious doll is pushed 100 ways, and feels the push, but not the hands that drive. For none can see the masked, ironic troupe, to whom our figure selves are marionettes, our deeds unwitting movements in their grasp, our passionate strife and entertainment scene. Ignorant themselves of their own fount of strength, they play their part in the enormous whole, agents of darkness imitating light, spirits obscure and moving things obscure. Unwillingly they serve a mightier power, Ananke's engines organizing chance channels, perverse and stupendous will, tools of the unknown who use us as their tools, invested with power in nature's nether state, and to the actions mortals think their own, they bring the incoherencies of fate, or make doom of time's split-shod caprice, and toss the lives of men from hand to hand in an inconsequent and devious game. Against all high truths their stuff rebels, only too titan force where there lies prone. Inordinate their hold on human hearts. Not anymore. Love won. Victory to the light. Todos somos uno, muy bien. Believe that. They're running scared if they're still existing here. Facts. Take that to the bank. Love already won. Know that. Against all higher truths, their stuff rebels. Only to titan force their will lies prone. Inordinate their hold on human hearts, in all our nature's turns they intervene, insignificant architects of low-built lives and engineers of interest and desires. Out of crude earthliness and muddly thrills and coarse reactions of material nerve, they build our huddled structures of self-will and the ill-lighted mansions of our thought, with our egos, factories, and marts surrounding the beautiful temple of the soul. Artists, minute of the hues of littleness, they set the mosaic of our comedy, or plan the trivial tragedy of our days. Arrange the deed, combine the circumstance and the fantasia of the moods, costume, these unwise prompters of man's ignorant heart and tutors of his stumbling speech and will, movers of petty wraths and lust and hates, and changeful thoughts and shallow emotions, starts. These slight illusions, makers with their masks, painters of the decor of a dull-hued stage, and nimble scene shifters of the human play, ever are busy with this ill-lit scene, ourselves incapable to build our fate, only as ancestors speak and strut our parts until the piece is done and we pass off into a brighter time and subtler space. Thus they inflict their little pygmy law and curb the mounting slow uprise of man. Then his too scanty walk with death they close. This is the ephemeral creature's daily life. As long as the human animal is lord, and a dense nether creature screens the soul, as long as intellect's outward gazing sight serves earthly interest in creature joys, an incurable littleness pursues his days. Ever since consciousness was born on earth, life is the same in insect, ape, and man. Its stuff unchanged, its way the common root. If new designs, if richer detail grow, and thought is added and more tangled cares, if little by little it wears a brighter face, fake it till you make it. If it ain't for real, smile in the mirror, fake as shit, and eventually it'll be a real smile from your heart. I dare you to try. I know I'm right. It worked. Look at me now. I love you all. Its stuff unchanged, its way, the common root. If new designs of richer details grow, and thought is added and more tangled cares, if little by little it wears a brighter face, still even in man the plot is mean and poor. A gross content prolongs his fallen state. His small successes are failures of the soul. His little pleasures punctuate frequent griefs. Hardship and toil are the heavy price he pays for the right to live, and his last wages death. I don't know. Not this lifetime around. Going for immortality. Believe that. An inert sunk towards inconscience, a sleep that imitates death in his repose. A puny splendor of creative force is made his spur to fragile human works, which yet outlast their brief creator's breath. Oh, facts. He dreams sometimes of the revels of the gods and sees the Dionysian gesture pass, a leonine greatness that would tear his soul. If through his failing limbs and fainting heart the sweet and joyful mighty madness swept, trivial amusements stimulate and waste,